we're not technically in a cone, a lot of people have been saying, hey, do we really need to worry? Yeah, everyone in Florida is going to feel the effects of this. As
Mm.
of 2 o'clock, that is the most recent advisory we got. We'll receive another advisory, including a track coming out at 5 o'clock. Maximum sustained winds at 2 o'clock still hanging out at 80 miles per hour. And right now, the movement is to the north-northwest at 10 miles per hour. It will eventually move off to the north and east. Here's a look at the track for you. We're expecting it to strengthen really quickly into a Category 3 storm by the time it makes landfall, moving onshore in the Big Bend area with winds at 125 miles per hour. However, we have been talking about how warm the Gulf waters are, how the upper level winds will relax. So it certainly is not out of the question that it could even be a Category 4 storm before it makes landfall, because it will be close to it. So 130 miles per hour puts it at a Category 4. Now, here's what's happening across Central Florida right now. These are not actually outer rain bands, but we are seeing the tropical moisture increasing across Central Florida. So we are seeing some areas of heavy rain, some lightning. So if you're in Brevard County, you have some heavier rain moving over toward the Mims area. All of this tracking inland. I'll go back out again and loop the radar so you can see the general motion of the storms out there. But if you're out driving, trying to finish up your preps right now, we are talking about some heavy rainfall and even some gusty winds at times already. Our winds are gusting up to around 25 to 30 miles per hour. Here's a look at those current wind speeds. So sustained winds are right around 17 miles per hour in New Smyrna Beach, but you factor in the wind gusts again, getting a little gusts in Orlando are already at 25 miles per hour, 26 mile per hour or 9 mile per hour gusts right now in New Smyrna Beach. Now, we all have some advisories in place, so to talk more about that is meteorologist Samara Cotinos.
And we are anticipating those winds, like you mentioned, Julie, to pick up out of the south-southeast tomorrow and be sustained at our gusting speeds between 20 and 40 miles per hour, with winds gusting even stronger than that, up to 65 miles per hour in some areas. So notice that western Marion County, so from I-75 back to the west, you're currently under a hurricane warning until further notice. Everyone else under a tropical storm warning until further notice. So we have those conditions. They're definitely out there. What we're looking at in terms of flooding, though, that's going to be a big key player for us. So all of Central Florida is under that flood watch until 8 a.m. Friday. We could get anywhere between 3 to 6 inches of rain, especially across our western zones, which will be closer to that storm. Locally higher amounts, especially, will happen in areas that get hit repeatedly with those slower moving bands of tropical moisture. So flooding is definitely a contender in this forecast. But when we look at the risk for severe weather for tonight, we're talking about a marginal risk across Central Florida. So really not too high, but we can't rule it out. Tomorrow, though, as we head into the afternoon and evening, boy, look at that, a slight risk across most of Central Florida, with the exception of southernmost Osceola and Brevard, but still under that marginal risk. So that means we could see isolated tornadoes, some really strong downpours, and those really strong wind gusts, Julie. And I know you're pinpointing the arrival of all of that.
Yeah, and we are in the front right quadrant of that storm, which means that we are all talking about that increased risk of tornadoes. Here's a look at the clouds and rain forecast. This is one of the models we use in-house here at News 6. It typically does very well with systems in the Gulf. As we take you through the rest of the evening hours, again, those outer rain bands start getting a little bit closer to us as we head toward around 10, 11 o'clock, and then rolling through the overnight hours. We stop the clock tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. I know a lot of you will be planning to go to work, but just keep in mind we will see periods of heavy rain throughout the day, especially along the coast for your morning drive. Then taking you through the day tomorrow, that's when our risk of severe weather really does go up, including that risk of isolated tornadoes. Anytime we're talking about tropical systems sitting off to our west, we do have that increased risk of rotating storms. So again, still dealing with some really heavy stuff around 5 o'clock, and then things should start to improve for us by around 10 o'clock tomorrow evening. So again, we keep our rain chances high as we head through the day today. It goes all the way up to 90% for tomorrow. So here is your pinpoint accurate forecast.
Your forecast is sponsored by Freedom Health Medicare Advantage plans.
90% chance of rain. We're going to expect squally weather throughout the day. Still some moisture hanging around behind the system into the weekend as a front moves into our area. But again, we will continue to watch for that threat of severe weather through the day tomorrow.
All right. Thank you, Julie and Samara. Our storm coverage is